What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at tonight to continue our lake breakdown series of Lake Chickamauga. We are on episode 8. I can't believe we've gone this far, and we still have a lot more videos to go. So each one of them is about 30 minutes. So you figure, that's a lot of time. That's about 4 hours of lake breakdown goodness, and we're going to keep adding to it. Tonight we're going to finish out, or not finish out, continue on the midsection. Probably have 2 more videos. We'll do this one, and then we'll have 1 more after that, and then we'll move on to the southern section or the lower section, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the offshore hotspots. Stick around. It's going to be a good one. Let's go. Here we are back in Google Earth, and if you missed any of the previous videos, I'm just going to go over this really quickly because you guys that are watching the videos that have been watching all along, that are on 6 or 7 with me. I don't know, this may even be episode 8. I can't even remember where we are, but anyways, if you've gone along with this, I'm probably wearing you out on this. But let's jump over here and let's talk about this left-hand side just really quick, so those of you that are just now joining us kind of understand what's going on here. So we started off on the breakdown for Lake Chickamauga. We're using Google Earth now. We're going to go through all the Google Earth spots that we can find, basically using satellite imaging, and then we're going to come back. We're going to follow up with a video using the Navionics mobile app, their boating app, to really look at the contours on this lake in the river system, looking for ledges, looking for humps, looking for things like that we call offshore. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to continue our breakdown series. We're actually on I believe our 3rd video on this midsection. So what we did is we covered the upper section. That's going to be anything up and north. I shouldn't say up, but north and kind of, I guess I should say north and east of Highway 60. So basically everything that's basically north of Highway 60, that's considered the upper section for Chickamauga. So if you're out on the website, simplisticfishing.com, and you're looking to buy the waypoints, know that that's the upper section. Then the midsection, which is where we're at, what we're talking about, is basically Highway 60 all the way south down to this park that's down here, Harrison Bay State Park. So once we get to Harrison Bay State Park, kind of where that cut is, that's where we're saying the midsection ends. And today we're actually going to start down here. We've made our way down quite a ways, and we're going to start down here right around this point. So I'll show you really quick how we have this thing broken down. I guess before I do that, let me show you the south section. So this is the south section as well, and we'll have more videos on that coming soon, as soon as we get this midsection complete. So let's go back here to the midsection, and let's talk about how we have it broke down, because this is what we're really focused on today. So first off, we have channels and ditches. Now on the channels and ditches, what we do is if we're able to see the channel or the ditch with the satellite imaging, we put a track out there. That's what you see right here, these little green things. And I'll cover those as we go through this breakdown. I'll say, here's a nice ditch, here's a good creek channel, and you'll see those green lines. Those green lines are basically right where the creek channel is. So it makes it really cool when you're out there on the boat, because you can line yourself up perfectly with those creek channels, with the swings, with the bends, all of that stuff. You know exactly where those channels are. Now, you also have cover and debris. There's a lot of it out there. A lot of it's lay down, man-made structure, brush. Sometimes you'll even see spots where we'll say check, and that just means that we're not sure what it is, but you definitely need to go check it out. We've also got ditches and ponds, so additional ditches. We can only put so many tracks on each card because each unit only supports usually up to about 50 tracks. I think Garmin can support as many as you want, but there's definitely some limitations there on the graph. So if the ditch isn't really clear and we can't really make a track, what we'll do is we'll just make an icon to let you know, hey, there's a ditch right here. And then we also have a lot of ponds. So there's a few flooded ponds that are out here that you definitely want to take a look at. Fishing around the pond dams, that's a very effective way to catch fish. So you definitely want to take a look at that. Then we're going to move over here to grass beds. Now on the upper end, when we were talking about the upper end of the lake, there weren't as many grass beds at all. I mean, there were maybe a few that I remember. I don't even remember that many being there, but definitely when we get into this midsection and we get down into the lower section of the lake, There are a lot of grass beds, a lot of grass areas, a lot of good stuff to fish around in regards to that. So we've got all of that stuff marked for you as well, at least what we can tell from the satellite imaging. We also have offshore hotspots that I talked about. Now, these are a little bit more tricky because they only show up in Google Earth for the day that I imported them in. So it takes you to the most recent date. So if I click on this, you're going to notice this date up here. It's going to go crazy. And it's going to go back to 2023. And then all of a sudden now all my offshore hotspots are going to pop up. Now, this is what I was telling you about. We're going to use the Navionics mobile boating app to actually go back through this in a whole nother series and talk about these offshore spots and why we think these are high percentage areas to go and try to find some fish. And then we're going to come and show you all the ramps that are out here as well. So you've got all of those in this section. Now you're like, why do you mark the ramps? To me, boat ramps are a really good pattern to run, especially all those personal ones, the slabs, stuff like that. We mark them all as ramps, but a lot of these are just slabs, that are used from other areas. And so they're definitely great places to go find fish. The bluegill like to spawn on them, and you know what that means. The bass like them as well. We've also got rocks. These are different types of rock formations, big boulders that we found, rock piles, shallow rock around seawalls, just whatever it was that we could find. We went ahead and marked for you guys. So you're going to have a complete breakdown here. And then last but not least, we've already covered most of these, but we will cover, hopefully we'll get here by the end of this video. And if we do, we'll cover those that are up there. But these are brush piles that TVA has put out here. I call them brush piles. They could actually be fish attractors. I'm not exactly sure if they're brush piles or not, but we got the coordinates from their site and pulled those into here as well. So that way, when you're out there, you got the offshore stuff, you got the TVA brush piles, plus you have all the Google Earth stuff. So it's pretty cool stuff. So let's go ahead and start. And I don't mean to keep rushing, but I know we got a lot to cover here on this video. I'm hoping we can make some progress and maybe get the midsection knocked out. So what we're going to do is we're going to start down here right off of this point. And again, if you missed the videos before where we talked about a lot of these areas, just go and look at the Lake Breakdown playlist and you'll actually see all the stuff out there for Chickamauga. I'm actually going to work on creating a playlist just for Chickamauga, so you can just see the Chickamauga. So I'll start working on that here pretty soon and have that out there for you as well. So let's go ahead and start here. We're going to start where it says rock, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to take that view off. We're going to look more here and actually have a bigger screen to be able to see what we're looking at. Now we're right here at Chester Frost Pavilion. So if you're wondering where I'm at, that's kind of where I'm at. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this back until I start getting a better image. That I can actually see stuff. So here I can tell there's rock there, but you can't tell that there's rock right where I put rock at. So I'm thinking we can get better than that. That's a main lake point. So we're looking for when the river was really drawing down. And I'm going to cheat here since we don't have a ton of time and tell you 2019 is a pretty good image. You can see now that water's down enough where we can see what's going on and check that out. There's a boat on it. And then 2014 as well had a pretty decent image. So let's look at that one and see which one's better. So I think we stick with the 2019. It looks to be pulled down about the same amount, but this one is not as crisp of an image as 2019 was. So we'll stick with 2019 unless it starts to fail us, and then we'll move back. So right here off the isle, off the point, we talked about this last time. That's a golden spot, right? Your main river, right off a point. The river's coming down. It's getting close. It's probably really, some really good bluff walls and stuff around in here as well. I mean, it's just a good point to fish around. Definitely a good spot to look at. As you move a little bit further down, you got a pretty good laydown that's in here. And then moving down, we've got some shallow rock that's all through here. Now, if you're wondering why I'm not covering this section, we did that on the last video. But zooming in here, this is a great little shallow water. Look, there's another laydown. Good little shallow water crankbait area. I mean, look at this nice, good riprap. And if I bring the water up, hopefully it comes up. Well, that's a bad image. 2021. You can see that that rock's out here a little ways. Definitely. This looks like it actually might even have some grass or some kind of a cover that's growing right in there. So it may be hard to fish that. But, really, if I'm fishing in here and I don't have it marked because we were more focused on the rocks, but I think the best spot right here, to be honest with you. Oh, it's gone. You can't see it here. That's why. This doesn't look as obvious in 2019 as it does in 2021. But in 2021, this sticks out like a sore thumb to me. This right in here. Now, you probably can't get a boat through there. It doesn't look like you can. It looks like just a little, like, I don't know, overflow area or something. But right in here where this ditch is, there's got to be something juicy right in there. So definitely go look in there. Might have to deal with a little bit of traffic on the causeway, but it's definitely going to be worth fishing around that area. We didn't mark that for you, but we definitely should have. All right, so let's keep moving down. I'm going to move this back to 2019. Out here, you can see there's some brush out here. That was totally submerged a minute ago when we had the water up. Got some additional rock that comes out here as well. See, obviously you got really good rock just all around this area for shallow cranking, but you've also got some additional like bigger rock for whatever reason, just right there around that corner. So let's keep moving down. Again, we're just marking, you've got all this shallow rock you can fish. Then we come out here, you kind of hit nothing, and then you get a little more rock up in here as well. Then you kind of get the, the dirt, the clay, all that good stuff. And then over here, some more rocks back here on this little bank line. These are pretty secret little areas that you can find pretty good fish on sometimes. And then also notice this little ditch that's over here. Do some scanning right in here and see if anything's relating to this little ditch that's right in there. Those are always good spots to at least look at. They're not always loaded with fish, but man, sometimes you'll find them and they're in the ditch and they're all in the ditch. It's craziness. Doesn't happen very often, but when it happens, it's a magical thing. We've also got some laydowns here, some more rock, more laydowns. You can see that we went ahead and marked for you guys. This point looks interesting right here. It didn't mark anything because there's really nothing to mark, but it almost looks like it has like an indentation on the top of the point. So the point comes out, but then at the top of the point, it has like this little bowl that comes in here or something. So this would be an interesting point to fish around. The other thing that's interesting about this point is notice this little white stuff right in here. It makes me wonder if there are shell beds that are collecting up on that area. And if they are, then that is a money spot to fish. So you definitely want to go at least check that out. All right, so moving on here, we got some more rock, some more structure that's right in here. We notice we put structure just as like this concrete structure, but it comes pretty far out here. So if you could fish up on the edge of that, like right where that wall is, that's probably where the best fish is. If I move this up again, 2021, you can see that comes out pretty far. So definitely a good spot to go look at. And this lake looks awesome. Then moving down here, we've got rocks, lots of shallow rocks. You can start basically right here in the corner and just fish all these rocks, probably hit up that dock too since it's a little isolated. Moving on down, definitely like this dock, right? It's the first dock that you come to when you're coming down here. It's kind of the first dock. I guess it's not the first dock, but it'd be the last dock. But it's the dock that's closest to the deepest water. So we're definitely thinking this dock could come into play. I would definitely take a look at that one and the rock that's around that dock as well. Some more laydowns over in here. You can see all of those and see where they're all laying down here. So those could be good little laydown spots, good crappie spots too. Some more shallow rock. Again, liking how this dock sets up. And you're like, why? Well, one, it's the last dock, right? And it's the closest dock to the main channel that's out here as well. But if you look at it, it's got another one of those walls that we saw earlier. And I'm not sure, I'd love to go out here and fish and see how many fish we could catch off these things. But my guess is the best spots to fish on these things is that dock looks good as well, just the way it's set up. But it's the edge, like right here on the edge. It's like the fish love to get on things that are really straight. Like if you get it on a fence line, they're always on the fence line. Like it's just a chain link fence. I don't know why the heck they're attracted to it, but they are. If it's straight, if you get on, you go out on the lake and you find an old dock pillars. All old dock pillars are always in a straight line. They love that stuff. They love the straight line stuff. So right here, this is perfect. They can hide right here, scoot their side up against the side to where basically nothing can hurt them or attack them or spook them from here. And then they can just ambush bait like crazy. So those are good little spots right there. All right, let's keep moving on. We got some more rock there off that point. I'm going to back up a little bit and kind of show you guys where I'm at. And I'm almost at the bottom down here, right? I've made my way quite a ways and I'm down here. It said something about, yeah, there we go. Wolfed Ever Creek. I guess that's what that says. Hopefully I'm reading that right. But as we move down here, we're really close to Picky's Point. We're gonna take a little U-turn and go back. We got some laydowns that are out here as well. And then I'm gonna move over and we're gonna start right here and we're gonna move our way back north to finish out this midsection. So let's keep looking at this thing. We got some more rock that's over here. This looks like a pretty good little protected little bay that's back in here. So it might be something to check out come springtime. And you can tell this is some pretty shallow stuff up in here. May have a little bit of hard surface as well. It's protected. There's no water coming in. It should be a little bit clear. Just it's pointing north. It's pointing northeast. That's the only bad part. But I would definitely take a look in here. This would probably be a pretty good area to look kind of springtime. Got some more rock in here. As we come out and we spin out of here, not that none of these things look good. It's just we can't mark everything. But, when we come out of here, there are some really good looking things that are right here off of lookout points. If we come over here and we look at these 2 points. These things look absolutely juicy. Just really, really, really good looking hard spots, rock, whatever you want to call it. It's got some debris on it. I guarantee those 2 spots are good spots to go look at and good spots to, to find some fish for sure. As we move over here, we've kind of got the same thing. Got a little ridge line that comes out here, creating all of this rock. You see you got boulders and stuff right here. I mean, you could spend some time, and I would definitely spend some time on these 4 spots right here. And obviously, it'll be a time of the year thing and things like that, but I'm betting money. If any of you guys live in that area, let me know. Send me a comment and say, yeah, I caught fish off those points. But I'm just telling you, those look like some of the best points we've seen. I love how they set up. I would definitely go fish them. As we move back in here, if you notice back in here, there's an old pond that's back in here possibly. Now, this could be just messing with our eyes. Let's draw this back to 2014 and see what it looks like in 2014. So it may just be messing with our eyes, but it almost looks like there's a pond back in here. This may not be a pond. It may just be a shallow pocket, and it's messing with us because we're seeing the water like there. I don't see a pond at all. But if I move it up to 2015, I'm seeing like an outline of a pond there. So I don't know if it's a pond or not. What I do know is you got a lot of grass in this area, and that could be juicy, fun stuff. Getting out on the outside edges of this stuff right in here, all in here where it's making the straight lines, like right there where that bend is. There's some good stuff in here. Man, awesome lake that you guys have. All right, so let's go ahead and move back up 2019. We're going to take out the hydrilla real quick. Not really take it out, but hide it. And we're going to keep looking at what else we can find here on the imagery. So we got some rocks in here as well. So, that might be good. If you got the rocks and the hydrilla kind of mixed together, that may be a really good spot to go take a look at. I like how that sets up. Now let's go back 2019. Keep moving up. We're going to go out here off to this point. This point's got some pretty good rocks off it as well. Look right in here. Got some really good rocks here, and you got the bluff wall coming here. Got a lot of things going on here. You got a point with some rock, shallower rock. You got a bluff wall. You got hydrilla down here. I mean, you got a lot of stuff going on right in this area. Moving down in here, more rocks, more laydowns, and more rocks. I mean, look at these points. This looks so awesome. Another good point I would look at. I really like this area. We've been talking about a lot about that, and there's a lot of good stuff over there, but I like this area right in here. I really like how it's just set up. The structure and stuff just looks really, really good. We've also got more rock in here off these points. This must be the same ridge line just kind of going down. So you got this bluff wall, and then on the back sides of the bluff walls, you can see where all the rock is. Really cool stuff. More rock here, more rock in there. You can see where we've got them all marked. These little rocky spots, some laydowns that are back here as well. You can take a look at. And then moving on up here, you've got more little rocky areas at this point. This must be kind of the end of the ridge. It doesn't look as steep as some of the other stuff, but man, that looks good. Definitely something to take a look at. In fact, I think there might be a man-made structure there now if it says structure, because usually if we put structure, it means we found something man-made there. So not sure if that's structure or just rock, but definitely something I'd want to fish around, being that it's that point. Then we get out here and we see more rock in here and some laydowns. And now you're probably wondering, why in the world is he not talking about out here? Well, don't worry. We're going to talk about it from an offshore standpoint. We'll talk about why that would be a great spot to go look at. Now we're going to swing up in here in Paradise Cove, show you a couple things in here. Again, some more rock. If you look at this point, of course, there's a boat there again. But this point, this one kind of looks rocky. It's hard to tell with the way the image is, but I'm seeing a lot of dirt, and I'm seeing one point that has the rock. So this is probably where I'm going to spend most of my time at. We've also got a lot of grass beds back in here as well. Some structure, man-made structure stuff, some laydowns, more grass beds, more creek channels. And then if we zoom in right here, there's actually some brush there that you can barely see. but something's definitely going on there. So let's pull this back. Let me show you these grass beds, because this is where it starts getting pretty crazy from a grass standpoint. So I'm going to pull this up to 2021. And we're going to take a look at these grass beds. Now, these are consistent. Like when we pulled them back through the years, they stayed in the consistent areas. So the lines, obviously we couldn't mark tracks around all these grass beds. If we could, the lines would probably shift. These grass beds are going to shift, but the areas that they're in stay pretty darn consistent. So if we move up here, you can see where we've marked these grass beds, where they start. You can see the creek channel there. There's the grass beds, more grass beds. So this could be frog heaven. Paradise Cove, it could be frog heaven cove. So you probably want to go take a look at that. All right, and then here, let's go ahead and just look at the rest of these grass beds real quick, because there's a bunch of them here. That whole area out there is a big, huge grass bed where that high point was that we saw in 2014 or 2019. So if we're at 2019, you can kind of see it out here. There's even a hump out there with maybe even some junk on it. I don't know what the heck that is. I don't know if that's probably above the water, but whatever that is, that whole thing in there, this whole area right in here becomes a grass bed. So if I move this up to 2021, you'll see, boom, there's the grass bed. That thing is above the water. I don't know if that's like some kind of duck blind or what it is, but really cool area to go fish around. Wish we had stuff like that here in Texas, but we don't. All right, let's keep moving up. More grass beds there, and there. So we went ahead and marked them for you. And then we've got some more that are up here, but I think we already talked about those in the last video. So let's go back. We're going to come back here. This is where we stopped at. Drop this back 2019. Let's keep rolling. We're going to move on up. When we get up here, we've got some pretty good sized laydown that's right here. Now, hopefully that thing's still there and it's not the imagery messing with us, but that might be a good one to go check out. And then we get up in here into this area down here by the Bear Trace at Harrison Bay Golf Course. And we get in here, we've got a lot of laydowns going on right through this bank line for some reason, just right off this point. So that can be interesting to go look at. Another good little protected area back in here too. Grass beds we talked about. Here's that pond. So fishing up here and fishing in the entryway right there around that pond can be really good. And then we're going to move over here. We're going to get around this point. So now we're at kind of the tip edge of the golf course here. We get over here, we're starting to see a little bit of rock. There's some laydowns there that we missed too, but you can see there's some rock in there too. So fish right around where that hole is, like right on that edge. That could be good. All these little points are probably going to be pretty decent for you just based on where they're at, looking at the river, but you definitely want to take a look at those. Then moving back here, there's just a bunch of laydowns. You can see we've got them all marked, more laydowns. There's some rock back in here too, some really shallow rock. Here's a nice little flat that's back here too. Looks like it may even have some stumps on it or something like that. This could be a really good spot to go take a look at, especially right now. It's March 24th. So yeah, come back here and check this out. It's gonna be a good spot to go check out for sure. All right, then we're gonna come down here. We've got some more laydowns we talked about. Here's some more rock over here by this day use area. Just some shallower rock, like right in here. This looks good. That whole area right in there just looks really good. There's really nothing else in the area. You got some right here, but that spot right there looks good. And over here too, you kind of got the same thing. And then you've got this little point here too. I'm sure we're going to talk about this from an offshore spot, but I'd fish over here off this point too. It looks like a great spot for them to stop at, hang out at. Maybe they come back in here and they spawn, or they come up in here and spawn, but a great little stopping spot for them for sure. There's another pond that's over here that you can see, a ramp. You can actually see that pond better if I move up the grass, I believe, to show you the grass, and you'll see, oh, nope, I don't see it. Let's go back. Somewhere in here we saw there was a pond. If not, then I will take it off. Yeah, that's where it is. So the pond's actually right here. It comes in, and this must be like the pond dam must be somewhere in here. We just can't see it. So look right in here and just see what you can find. The little point's going to be good as well. Let's move this back up to 2019. I like that image better. And let's keep rolling. So we got rock here along these docks. Guys, these docks look good. You got the river swing coming here a little bit. I mean, they just look good. There's not very many of them. There's only, 5 or 6 docks here? Yeah, 5 docks. So definitely look at these docks. That one looks good too. These look really good. So definitely look at those. We've got some more rock back here by this little area in here. This looks kind of interesting. Not sure what's going on back in there. And then as we move up, we got a ramp, some more rocks in here off this seawall. Now, if you get up here and get more parallel with this, this could be a pretty good spot to go find some as well. Got some pretty good rock in there too. A ton of power lines right there. And then as we move up here, we're going to see some more rocks, some more laydowns, kind of the same thing. Looks like Denny Bluff. We're going to come off of Denny Bluff. Didn't see too much in here. As we move a little bit further up, though, we do have a lot of docks to fish, obviously. This is shallow stuff, too. You can tell it's the shallower side. But over in here, you got some really good rock right in here, too. And maybe it's not as shallow as I thought, but it sure looks shallower. Usually, if the boat docks, if the walkways are long, that means you're in a shallower area. And if they're short, then you're in a deeper area. So anyways, I guess just some stupid knowledge that I have. But here we've also got another pond. We kind of outlined this one for you. This one looks pretty decent. So fish up here and get on the insides of this thing, like here. And that can be pretty productive. And then obviously find where the opening is and fish around where the opening is. And then move up here. We've got some more man-made structure. Not sure what's going on here. It's like a slab, a ramp. We're not sure what it is, but definitely something there. And then let's back out. Show you where we're at. I don't think we're going to make it. I thought we were going to make it in 30 minutes, but we're not because we still have about half this thing to go. So what we'll do is we'll stop up here. We'll stop right up here at this island, Skull Island. That'll be a good place for us to stop at. And then we'll come back with one more video on the midsection. And then hopefully we're moving on to the southern section or the lower section. So right here, we've got a ramp, some really good rock around this ramp as well. Let's go ahead and stop right there. That's the Skull Island public boat ramp. So when we come back on the next video, we're going to start right here and finish out the midsection for this lake. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this thing for us so I know exactly where we stopped at. Pull this back. And if you haven't yet, go check out our website, simplisticfishing.com. I'm sure you've seen the banners that have been popping up throughout this video. We have all these waypoints. We've got it broken down into 3 sections. Again, the upper, the mid, the lower sections. You can get the waypoints, take them, put them on your graph, and actually see the lake broken down while you're out there on the water. It will change the way you fish. I promise you that. It will help you break down the lake much faster, pattern the fish much faster. It's definitely worth the investment. So go take a look, simplisticfishing.com. Until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.